is Sunday, April 19th, and the next couple of days of severe weather is going to get pretty intense. So, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get straight into the forecast. But before we do that, just want to give a shout out to Max Velocity. He hit a new record in views on his weather coverage on Friday. So, big shout out to him. And yeah. So yeah, hold up. Let me fix something on my other monitor so I can pull this up. Alright, sorry. Alright, so we can see this is the radar for Thursday, 7 p.m. on Thursday. And there's a lot of, what. So this green over here. So all this green right here. This is, all this is snow. So this is coming up to Canada and stuff, okay? All of this is heavy rain in these little spots, which these can bring some big showers, severe weather, and a lot of stuff. So we're looking out for that one, but because that one can get pretty severe. Here's our next radar here. Oh, okay. Let's look at this. So we can see this. This is for the next couple of days. This is from the. So you can see rain and thunderstorms are expected to happen for the next couple of days. Let's see if I can actually say this to my photos real quick, so I can view this better. So we can see all of this. So fire weather is expected to happen up here since it's going to get pretty dry. There's going to be some rain and thunderstorms and a lot of rain that's going to happen. You see highs and lows right there. But it's going to be a lot of severe weather on Thursday that's going to happen. That it's reloading. We don't know if this is going to be that bad yet, but it's looking like it's reloading for something pretty big. So we're going to keep talking about it and mentioning it, because it's going to get, yeah. Let's see. Here. Another good view that we can look at is, oh, come on. Max velocity. Alright. Let's find all the severe weather. Here. This is day 6, I think. Nope. Day 5. Thursday, yep. Alright. So you guys can look at this max velocity here. And this is your outlook. So on Thursday, okay, this is Thursday. So, how do I do this full screen? Can I zoom out of this? Alright, so we can see that, so you can see that this is a storm right here. It's reloading. It's 15% that's severe. Right over here, it goes into Iowa and the lower plains. So, a lot of stuff. Texas is not quite in this, but this storm is very effective and has to reach down to Texas. It'll make its way down there. So, just keep an eye on that, but, yeah. Got tropical. This is the countdown till the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. 42 days. This is the peak season too, so yeah, but hurricane season's getting pretty close to us. Um, but yeah. Alright, off topic. Let's get to the radar now. There's a lot of other, stuff we gotta talk about with radar and all of that. So, yeah. Yo, what the hell is this? Oh, freeze. Alright, it's gonna get pretty freezing. Alright, before we review anything else, yeah, we're gonna have to look at radar here. It's gonna help out. So if we view this and this right there, nope. Yeah, okay. We can see all this purple is freeze warning, so it's supposed to freeze pretty big. And we can see it's supposed to freeze a lot, especially but if we look at radar, okay, I know radar, it's a little weird, but we can see all this. All of this is cold. Why does this keep doing that? All of this is cold weather up here, okay? That's where all the cold weather is gonna happen and stuff, especially it's coming over here. We might even see a little bit of snow falling today, so make sure to take photos of that if you see any. Because we would like to see that. But yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. Check out on this blizzard, here. How's it doing? How's it doing? Hopefully nobody's trapped and stuff, but yeah. When does this expire? I just want to see. Okay. But yeah, that's all the cold stuff that's gonna happen. Let's actually get the radar off there and contours. Alright. That's all that. So I mean, that's not the biggest thing but watch out for all this flash flooding up here if you're over here, because this flooding is gonna get pretty effective. This is all like right here. And like if you're over here, just please watch out for flash flooding. There's a lot of flash flooding. I mean, if you really want to go stay somewhere for the night in a hotel with no flash flooding and stuff, go right here for a flash flooding watch. That's the only space. Or you can drive through there, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. Not recommending that. Alright. That's all the cold stuff. Now let's get into the category of what's gonna happen. Oh. So looking at today's not such a big threat. Oh, why is my drawing not deleted yet? It's still not deleting. Alright. That should make it. Alright, yeah. But okay, so starting today, there's like little threats over here. You might see a storm chaser up here. I don't know, because it's expected to be a lot of thunderstorms. You might see a storm chaser right over here, like right there in Canada. It's a general thunderstorm risk. So I mean, it's just little spots. You might see a couple of showers and today, but it's not that bad. But yeah, it's not the baddest thing. Going into day 2, yeah, we're going to talk about rainfall, too. That's going to be a big thing. Day 2, there's a low risk down here. There's going to be a couple thunderstorms from the rip current. That's why there's gale right there. Because this is going to bring... There's a rip current statement from the ocean. It's going to bring in some stuff from the Bahamas, too. So, watch out. And then over here, there's another threat. Just watch out. This goes into a little bit of the freeze in the red red flag warnings. But then this goes up over here because this is expected. We'll talk about rainfall over here because this is going to get pretty effective. But then it reaches off right below here. This is on day 3. But this is the form of the storm on Thursday. So we'll definitely watch out for that. But it's kind of Goryo. If we can get down to tornadoes, no wind. Nope. Trying to see what we can get to. Okay. Probabilistic. Alright, but this is day 5, and this is Thursday. Alright. And what we're expecting here is a reload of storms, like we talked about earlier. But what this is going to bring, it's going to bring a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, even favorable for some tornado conditions. But what's going to happen is there's a bunch of moist up here, which here, it's better to look at this. Okay, so this is day 1 through 7, okay? So our threats are, down here and stuff, but, let's see day 1 to 5, that's better. Okay, so we can see that all of this is a bunch of precipitation and stuff, which is expected to be 1.0 inches. And all this jet stream and stuff is going to carry its way down through here. With over here, it's going to be warm, but since, it's freezing over here, this is going to all collide here with the cold front. So the cold front's up here, the warm front's down here. Okay? The storms are going to both travel up from probably the Dallas, and probably going to make its way up here and over there, which also this storm's probably going to have enough power to reach all the way down here. So they expect to be a cold front and warm front because it's going to be warm down here and cold over here. But yeah, we'll talk about a little bit other stuff in a little bit, especially at this. But that's what's going to happen with Thursday. So you can see that's what's going to happen with Thursday, and stay aware for that. Day 6. Now on day 6, which is Friday, it reaches over here a little bit, but this is the cold front. So this is a warm front from over here, and the cold front from over here. Although it's gonna be cold up in Dallas, but also what this is also is the storm from over here. It's gonna shift over here too, part of it, not all of it, because it's not gonna go overnight. But you might see a couple thunderstorms overnight because that's gonna show something. But yeah, let's talk about rainfall now, especially excessive rainfall. You can see why the heck is this in California? Well, I'll tell you why this is in California. It's getting pretty freezing, dude. Wow. It's gonna freeze. Alright. Why in California, you ask? Well, the reason why in California is there's gonna be some heavy rainfall coming, okay? Let me show you what I mean by this because it makes sense. So we can see day 1 and 2. So this is today and tomorrow. We can already see its start, 1.5 inches of rain. We go to day 1 and 3. You can see it rises a lot more. These are some severe parts. 2.5 inches of rain. But if we go to day 1 through 5, look at this. We're expected to get 2.5 inches of rain. 3.0 inches. Surrounding this is 2.5. But dang, it's going to get bad with the rain and stuff. So that's why there's flooding and excessive rainfall. Just if you're here, be careful. There's also a little bit of threats down here. for 3 inches of rain. Just, yeah. Be careful for flooding. Do not drive flooded roads. And just be careful of that, because it's not going to be safe to drive through. Alright, back to the excessive rainfall. So that's right there. That's where all the heavy rain's going to come. Then it collides down here and makes its way down over here to Los Angeles. So this is a little more of a threat. A lot of rain's going to travel through the Bay Area up over here to Los Angeles. And eventually, probably going to die down by it gets to the end of California. But, yeah. Yeah. But then the excessive rainfall is done. But there's a marginal risk for where these storms are going to be. But, yeah. Alright, so that's enough of talking about that. But what we really got to talk about is... What was I about to talk about? We have to talk about some fire risks. So, we can already see there's fire risks on the map over here up in Texas and the Oklahoma plains. And over here. So, you can see there's both weather watches, fire weather watch, and red flag warnings. But what this is going to bring today, it's going to be 45 mile per hour winds. 35 actually here. 35 mile per hour winds. That's why there's gale right here. So we can see gale offshore. Water forecast and news prediction. Winds to 35 to 45 mile per hour winds with one little spark can spread all around, which this can be pretty effective. That's why there's so much gale, which, talks about rain and all that. And if you're, if you want to go on the ocean today, you want to go in the ocean today with a small craft, it's an advisory, and I would be careful because there's some high waves and high winds that can send you off guard. So maybe either cancel those trips, reschedule it, or don't go that far out and be careful. Or rent out a bigger ship and you won't be too bad. But I wouldn't recommend going out with a small craft. Alright, so heading on to day 1, which is today. Now we got critical fire risk, which over here is 55 to 60 mile per hour winds, especially with all the thunderstorms, which is gonna overlap with this and cause 65 to 70 mile per hour winds over here, which you gotta watch out for because this can be pretty bad. And surrounding it is elevated, but one little spark can spread around and cause a big bad wildfire. But what also can send the wildfires off guard is some heavy rainfall that's coming. But the only way this will stop if this spreads from a good portion of Texas all the way down here, where the excessive rainfall is gonna come. Alright, heading to day 2. It's only elevated fire risk. There's just little spots where fire weather can happen because of dry 35 mile per hour winds, but I think one we gotta really talk about is over here and over here, especially with some big winds from gale and small craft and rip current, beach hazards. So beach hazard statements is high dangerous rip currents. So it's gonna be some big rip currents and from the gale and all the high winds. So be careful from that. But that's the wind and reflectivity. But yeah, one more thing before we talk about snowfall, we gotta talk about the drought real quick, and we'll talk about temperature. Here, where's the drought at? Here, GPC drought. So this is the drought, okay? So this is current. There's little spots of droughts and exceptional droughts for a lot of stuff to happen. Just watch out for that, because it's actually over here. There's a little bit of a dry spots of drought in those Illinois spots. But yeah, let's talk about temperature, okay? So from day 6 to 10, it's either going to get pretty cold or pretty hot. I don't know why my things are not showing up. Why is it not showing up? Oh, am I going to press that? Okay, that doesn't help. Okay. But what's going to happen with this, it's a 36% chance of near normal temperature. So, this is not normal temperatures. If you're over here, Chicago, the whole Illinois, it's up over here. I don't even can't even see, dude. Texas, goes all the way through here to Missouri. It's gonna be pretty cold. I'm talking 40s and 50 degrees. That's why there's huge freeze warnings. But over here, it's a 33% chance of normal temperature. This one's gonna be a little more warmer temperatures, 55, 60 miles. But still, it's still gonna get pretty cold. So I'd recommend wearing extra wears. It's gonna get pretty warm over here, But then, luckily, it's gonna get pretty warm again. It's gonna get pretty warm again. And seasonal 3 months, it's gonna get warm, pretty warm. So just a couple 3 weeks of cold stuff, but after that, it's really nothing. But that's temperatures. Let's check below average. Oh, it doesn't need to check. Now we gotta talk about another tropical cyclone formation. But okay, so what I was reading earlier about tropical cyclone formations. So when this is happening with this is Typhoon Sinkaku. Sorry if I say it wrong. But what this is gonna be 2 months, expected to be 2 months of tropical cyclone trying to happen in the Philippine Sea, even parts of the Pacific Ocean. Which, we already had a little bit of a typhoon that we thought was going to happen. But now it's just little spots that might happen. But there's a little bit of formation that might start, and it might actually be an effective typhoon in the next 3-4 weeks. So, be careful of that. Alright, let's talk about some snow now. Because there's a little bit of snow that might happen. So, blowing snow, where the heck is it? Blowing snow is expected to happen in Maine, but this is going to travel all the way down over here to Montpelier in Vermont, New Hampshire too. But all of this is going to spread over here at some point, because they're expected to get some snow. Then it gets pretty major. Where the heck is it? Oh, that's in Alaska. Okay. Oh no, over here there's literally a major risk, extreme risk of snow that's gonna happen there. Which that's pretty weird. It's only in one little spot. But snowfall, 4 inches over here. Only one spot in the USA, but Canada, of course. Then it gets pretty moderate. That's not, okay, that's Canada. Day 3, where the heck? It gets over here. There's big snow risks over here, which it's pretty crazy. 8 inches, not expected. Still is going to happen, though. Freezing rain might happen in New York. I don't know why it's not there, though. That's pretty much all the weather talk I have for you guys today. Just stay safe. A lot of stuff going on. Stay safe. I'll see you guys in the next one. If you're in this blizzard, just get ready for a lot of snow. And I'll see you guys in the next one.